In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you don't have that by now, it ain't gonna never happen. Unless you listen to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Want to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Master the Art of Connecting and professional speaker Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on the planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a man whose mission is to get you off the hamster wheel and unlock your potential. As the regional developer for multiple Alair Homes regions in North America, he gets the opportunity to collaborate with top business owners, leaders, and project managers as they strive to find a better way to grow dynamic businesses with less chaos. Don't we all need that? A little less chaos, I think.
Less chaos is always good.
It's very true. He's the host of Builder Nuggets podcast, connector, coach, consultant. This is my kind of guy. Thrive Loud listeners, Dave Young. Dave, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks. And excited to talk with your audience and share some stories with you here.
So Dave, as I like to do in this program, I like to do a little rewind to kick things off.
Okay.
Again, don't want to go all the way back to the womb. I want to go like, how did this thing that you're doing now, specifically now, become your gig?
Wow. We have to go back a little bit, but I'll try and keep it brief. I started out as a real estate investor and got bit by the real estate bug very early. That became the foundation. Getting into investment properties gave me a little bit of financial freedom to try a few different things and discover what I wanted to do. And it was about 9 years ago, I was trying to figure out what my next project would be. I was also struggling with a really bad back, was nearly crippled, and I won't get into too much detail at that time. And a phone call changed the trajectory for what I was going to do next. And it was a franchise rep who I knew from another business experience called me to tell me, super excited about this amazing opportunity and that I had to hear about it. And I'm like, okay, spit it out. And he says, it's a custom home building franchise. And I instantly said, okay, I'm out. I'm not handy at all. It's a bit of a joke in I don't even like to putter and fix stuff. I'm great at demo and starting projects, but very, very poor at follow through with anything that's got a lot of detail.
What year was this?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I said, I'm out. And he said, no, you got to hear about this young guy. He's got this great business idea. He's going to change the contracting industry. And I said, okay, well, it sounds interesting. And I thought, why not? Right? Why not? Why not be open-minded and hear about it? So I sort of agreed to a 30-minute call with Blair McDaniel. And that call went 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I heard his vision for all these fractured companies out here, an industry that could really benefit from shared services and all that sort of thing. And I was like, instantly, that'll work. And I got excited about it as a person who loves business and challenges. I got really excited about it. And I committed to joining Alair Homes as a regional partner, but I had to launch a construction company first in order to prove that I could then go out and support it and help other people grow their business. So that was a terrifying step for me to actually go out and start a custom home building business. And I was very fortunate that I wasn't doing it for very long, or much of it for very long. I brought in some amazing people who took over and leveraged the services and masterminds and all the things that we thought would work. And now they're thriving.
Got it. First of all, thank you for that. Bringing you up to speed. Let's talk a little real estate shop. You are based where in North America? You're in north of the border, I believe.
Yeah. So I'm just north of Toronto in a town called Newmarket. And I get to work across North America with my Alair business. I'm in Ontario, Manitoba, and then the Carolinas, but network's pretty big. So I get to collaborate all across North America with some amazing business owners. And now the podcast is everywhere.
So let's first of all, let's split this conversation into two parts. The first avenue I want to go down is the world we're in today, which is one of the craziest real estate markets ever. And I'd love to get your take on that. And the other side I want to get is to understand how you've been helping other businesses from that. So let's just take a snapshot. As we're recording this in April of 2022, this is one of the craziest, at least in the United States, priced markets because of everything that happened with COVID. There's a tremendous limited supply thing going on right now. So as somebody who's very attuned to the building world, talk to me and give our listeners a little bit of a take of what you're seeing in this space.
Well, so obviously on the construction side of things, prices of everything just went through the roof. There's a scarcity of the workforce, all sorts of pressures and things and challenges that are making it difficult. But that's been tempered by low interest rates, right? So that's given people the confidence to invest in leveling up in their home or doing something special, or they've acquired some wealth and want to reinvest it in their future. So they're able to handle that. But we're about to hit an intersection where we still have those high prices and fluctuating, rising interest rates and inflation. So that's kind of when, the all bets are off. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen next. So a lot of investors will probably err on the side of the conservative at the moment. You'll start to see some cooling off possibly.
Let's hope so for those of us who are in the market to buy something.
Yeah.
But I do want to get back to something you started this conversation off with. Your initial gut reaction was to run away and not get involved with this.
Yeah.
What was said on that call, and what do you still believe today made that decision such a great one for you personally?
Okay. Well, the initial gut reaction, and I think this is probably normal for a lot of people, is that if it's something that you don't know you're good at, or something that you are scared of, that creates a real resistance to exploring an opportunity further. So if you can ever, my first takeaway from that experience was be open-minded. Listen. You can always say no after you know what it is. So many times people say no before they even learn what it is, because they have some sort of mental blockage. But when you say, what made me say yes, you mean in the 2-hour and 45-minute call?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Blair shared with me, first of all, Blair and I hit it off because he's also an apartment building investor, and we talked a lot about that and family fun stuff. So I just had a natural, a personal connection with him where I'm like, this is a cool guy who's got it going on. So that always helps. Great personality goes a long way. But he had spent a lot of time, he had taken a year off his business to go and research whether or not and interview other franchise CEOs and leaders to see if they thought something like this would work for a custom home building network, because it is filled with risk and you have a massive audience, but tons of moving parts and complexities. And what Blair discovered was that was the reason that nobody had really been able to successfully do something like this. And he felt that there was opportunity to not try and make it all about, the brand and all that sort of thing, but get the power of the collaboration working together and identifying what these business owners are good at, which is, their particular skill set, and take everything else off their plate. And if you do that in a way where you have access to higher thinking, better marketing, all the stuff, accounting, best practices, manuals, like every single thing was being worked on 24/7 behind the scenes by other people, not you. And I thought that's just amazing for any business, but it just had never been done. I feel like the custom construction industry is the last industry to go through this type of consolidation. So real opportunity, I saw it people called it a disruptor at first. I saw it as an opportunity to harmonize the industry, because in a disruptive market, you're taking work away from the people who are doing it to move it to another platform. In this platform, you are bringing the best of the best together. You're plugging them in and getting them collaborating with best practices. It just changes the trajectory of everything. So yeah, that's That's what compelled me, was his vision and his ability to communicate it. And he had enough of the pieces in place. I mean, this is 2013. Now Alair has over 100 offices across North America. It's an exciting time.
So let's hit this point that I wanted to drill down in, and that is, you're right. You basically created all of the ideal mastermind environments, if you would, to provide those in this space a way to come together, which, as I just defined you in the beginning of the opening, as a connector. Have you always been one?
I don't know if I've always been a connector. To some degree, yes. But when I meet super connectors, and I know a few of them, that's a passion for them. I think I'm more like a visionary or an ideas guy who likes to connect, but I wouldn't describe myself necessarily as a pure connector. Having witnessed people who are just where that's their unique ability or their superpower, it's unbelievable to watch them, and they thrive in that environment. But it's very fun. And when you are somebody who has ideas and needs a team of people to execute all the things that you're not good at, you need to have some level of proficiency with connecting and communicating in order to get the right people on board with the mission.
So this is where I'm going to beg to differ here.
Because,
okay. Because you, Dave Young, came up with an idea, and you co-host a podcast program called Builder Nuggets Podcast. First of all, talk about how that idea came to be, and then I'm going to double click down here as to why I believe you are a connector specifically in this space.
Okay, cool. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on that. Yeah. So as a regional partner with Alair, one of the most important things for us in growing the business is identifying and getting to know some other top builders that we may want to invest our resources in and really double down on helping them to level up and making them successful. So we thought the podcast would be great in a few ways. One, we would get to be more connected with the industry. So there, I've just given you some more ammo for your counterpoints coming up. And
note to self: take Dave on in a debate anytime.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll be on your side by the end of it. It's like talking to Chris Voss right now. So we wanted to, a few different things. We wanted to connect and meet with more builders. We wanted to continue to develop an abundance mindset where the more we shared, and this really came a little bit more after, but we found that the more we shared, the more we got back. And we originally set out to let's go out. We're going to share this information, all the things that we'd learned. And in doing so, we attracted some great thinkers, some other guests and experts, and even, stories from other builders coming up to us and saying, hey, this, I really benefited from that. And so we had all this coming back to us. And so now we have that we can bring to the people either on the show that we're working with in Alair or other builders that we just happen to collaborate with. And it's growing. We're getting ready to launch events, and we're developing this stable of other amazing coaches who want to be a part of it. So it was unexpected and very, very fun to see what happens when you put the right message out.
Yeah. So let's see. We've put together coaches. We've created a platform. We're putting events together from it. We're bringing people in the community together. You're finding business opportunities. I don't know. It sounds like you've got connecting skills built in from this application. No?
Yeah. There's a bit of a web there, and I guess it's hard for me to take credit for all that, and maybe that's why I don't see it that way, because there's a lot of people that go into it, and I often feel like as the co-host of the show, because I'm like, partner on the show, my co-host Dwayne is amazing. He does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, but I feel like I get the easy job because I love just asking the questions, and I love connecting the thoughts and putting things together and seeing how it would be used. So in any successful mission like this, there's so many people behind the scenes that it really feels hard to put too much of the credit on any one person.
What would you say has been, what I love to say is the gift that you've received from hosting this program in kind of the role that you have, right? It's all been building, pun intended here.
Yeah.
From that first phone call to growing this practice in this business over those last 8 years, my goodness, 9 years, and now to putting this platform together. What's been the gift for you?
Well, one of them is, confidence, right? The gift of confidence, just like that phone call 9 years ago where I was, scared afterwards to launch a construction company because I'm like, I'm not a builder, but I had the confidence in my ability and to grow a business and to find other people. It was the same thing. I was not very comfortable speaking in front of groups of people, but we really wanted to get our message out. So we took the leap, and I had only even listened to one or two podcasts prior to doing it. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking. And to me, as a Colby quick start, I'm not sure if anybody out there is familiar with Colby. I start a lot of things and my follow-through is not that great. So starting something like this and having the courage to start it and then building the team around it and following through has been very fulfilling. And then to be at a builder show, and I'm thinking back to the one in Orlando, the International Builder Show this year, right at the end of one of the days, Builder and his wife came up, baby in a stroller, and he says, "Hey, it's the Builder Nuggets guys. I know you guys. You're my favorite podcast. I love you guys." And we're like, "Wow, thanks. That's great." And I'm like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Los Angeles." And I'm like, it's so cool to hear. We had somebody from Scotland that we know is listening in, guests from Australia, and to know that there are people that are listening in and benefiting from it, but then also reaching out and sharing what they're learning or recommending topics, and other coaches reaching out and saying, "Hey, what about, could we talk about this?" And like, yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. And the nuggets that we did it to share nuggets, we ended up getting so many nuggets back that that's the real part. And that's where everybody thrives, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love asking guests this question, Dave. Curious to see where this goes. Look, you've been successful in real estate for a bit. You've obviously created new ways to connect to people. You're coaching people. You're providing advice, which means on most days, and while you're on this program, is you're thriving.
Yes.
But we all have those days when we're a little off our game. We're not quite kicking on all cylinders. Dave Young, when you have trouble thriving, what practice do you seek, or maybe which individual do you seek out to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Oh, the first person I start with is myself, because when you have enough training, and I get to work with some amazing coaches to work on my own mindset, and you worry or you learn that if you're in a negative state, that can be a choice. Sometimes it's just overwhelming, but I just pause and try and reset and think about something positive and try and get that energy and that power back. And of course, there are people in your life that bring you joy. If one of my daughters is, nearby, just going and giving one of them a hug and telling them that you love them and that they're awesome. And that's just do a personal reset. And there's so much negativity out there. I try to remain a super positive person, because it takes positivity to solve complex things, and negativity solves nothing. It makes every challenge more difficult. So yeah, I just try and snap myself out of it. That's probably not that inspiring, but when you realize that, what, this is how you feel right now is within your control. If you can just shift your thinking for a moment and then work on what kind of energy do I want to put into solving whatever challenge has put me in this state. And whatever, you should bring whatever energy you want back to that.
I'll comment. First of all, I now understand where less chaos comes from. Mr. wants to calm it all down and simplify it.
Yeah.
But just to challenge, this is pretty inspiring. Make it clear. Any hug from a daughter is certainly worth out about. So.
Yeah. And it's funny that we talk about chaos, because I'm constantly thriving or, talking about minimizing the chaos, but I create a ton of it with my thinking. I'm not a natural simplifier. I like to take something and make it the biggest possible idea that it can be. And a lot of times when you're just laying all that out on the table, it's a giant mess. That's when you need to surround yourself with simplifiers and integrators who really understand what needs to get done and prioritize it. And I had a great call with somebody who was like that today, who I shared a big idea with, and said, okay, let's find the simplest way to get that started as possible. But if you keep the things simple, you can create really complex amazing things with simple bits executed by real professionals that are working in their wheelhouse, at their effortless ability. And boy, you can grow something meaningful.
Absolutely. Let's do the admin part of the show. We're going to have a little fun
All right.
stroll down Fun Street, but do the admin piece first. Share with the listeners all the places people can find you, websites, URLs, social handles, where they can find the podcast. We will put it in the show notes, but it gets way more engagement when they hear it from you.
Yeah, no problem. So the podcast is at buildernuggets.com, and you can listen to it anywhere you get, you like to download your podcast. It's available pretty much everywhere. We're on Instagram and Facebook with at Builder Nuggets. And if you want to check out Alair Homes, it's alairhomes.com. And on LinkedIn, Dave Young 13.
Love it. For the record, anyone that does the whole take the symbol from the periodic table and use their initials in it, like Builder Nuggets has, which you'll see in their podcast artwork, it's pretty damn cool. I'm always a big fan of that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. We started going down the road on that, and we were talking about all the elements for success, and we had the logo already designed like that. And we said, why don't we make a periodic table of all the different elements? And it looks pretty cool when you get it going. So yeah, thanks for noticing that, man.
We take notice of lots of fun things.
All right.
So speaking of fun things here, Dave, you ready to go down Fun Street?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Share with the listeners the lack of specificity that you had when it came to selecting your all-time favorite movie. Listeners need to know he chose, I think, 3. So
yeah,
do you remember what they were?
Yeah, okay. So my favorite all-time movie, and then I give 3 of them. So Godfathers 1 and 2, I will watch every single time. 3 doesn't do it for me. 1 and 2.
3 didn't happen.
Yeah.
3, we actually pretend that it didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
So you're better off with 2.
That's why they made mulligans. So
right.
1 and 2, my grandfather gave me the book when I was I was still in high school, and I read it. And I still to this day think it's an amazing business book. It's very extreme in its principles, but there are takeaways, there are nuggets in that book that teach you about the value of loyalty, the when to speak, how to conduct yourself, and how to defer to somebody else at certain times when it's appropriate. There's a lot of good takeaways in there. When I think about a fun movie, one that I just get and I think is brilliant, it's Roberto Benigni's Life is Beautiful. The original in Italian, though, when I hate it when I recommend it to people and they're like, yeah, I thought it was great, but I not as much as you did. And I'm like, did you watch it in English? Did you watch the dubbed version? Yeah. It's like, no, you need to listen. You need to hear it in Italian, and the inflection in their voices and the lilt and everything that goes with that. It's such a powerful, heartwarming, devastating, every emotion you can imagine is in there. And his Oscar acceptance moments of stepping over the chairs and up onto the stage were pretty amazing. Talk about a guy going down Fun Street with that guy would get a speeding ticket. So anyway, if you commit to it, commit to watching it in Italian with the English subtitles. It's worth it to hear a genius in his creativity, his voice.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, I've never in my life heard someone open with that, because it is true. There are funny parts to the movie, but of course it is under the worst and most extreme scenario of all. And it's just but it is a good way to look at how life is beautiful, which is what he does, and keeping his son's hopes alive, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you? Have you got a favorite? Share one with us.
I got tons of favorites. We can go into that.
Depends on your mood too, and that's why it's hard to give it.
There's been other podcasts where I've detailed it, but we'll get to it. The listeners are already bored of my answers. We want to, but what I want to do is I want to go down the speed round of Fun Street with you.
Okay.
This is how this works, Dave. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. I want the first thing that comes to your mind. These are things that lift you up, motivate you, make you feel good. Basically, they make you thrive.
Okay.
And since these are your answers, really, there's no wrong answer. So don't worry. You're not going to fail this test. You're going to ace it, obviously, because you're a pro in chemistry and in entrepreneurship and business. And while you can't build things together, at least you're smart enough to build businesses. So you'll get it.
Okay.
Got it?
I'll do my best.
All right. Of late, a song you love to listen to or one that pumps you up?
Oh, that's real easy, because I just discovered that The Who released a new song called Ball and Chain. And these guys are in like their 60s or whatever. And I think they released it like a couple years ago, but I just discovered it at the gym last week, and it's like I've played it a few times, cranked it right up. So yeah,
I think they're in their 70s, but we'll
70s. Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
I was 70s. We'll go with that.
And sorry, a favorite food that's not a dessert.
Love pizza all the time. Couple others, but I'm going to go with the first one that comes into my head. I'm trying to stick to the rules. I'm not very good at it, but
a favorite dessert.
Creme brulee is the first one that comes to mind.
Okay.
Love anything chocolate though.
Anything chocolate. What kind? A certain type of chocolate thing? Like it's got to be a cake, a torte, a thing.
The thicker the chocolate, the better. Warm is good. Like a chocolate lava cake bursting with chocolate. Yeah. Awesome. Some gooseberries on it. Yeah. Really good. Something bitter to cut it with too. Yeah.
An activity you wish you did more of.
Boating, anything to do with the water. So love getting time down south, scuba diving, fishing, deep sea fishing, taking people around on adventures in the boat. Super fun for me. Burning boat gases. I mean, environmentalists don't hate me for that out there. It's not about burning the gas, but being out and having the freedom of being on the water and going somewhere and knowing that you're going to be wet and in warm, wet, crystal clear water with cool people. Super fun.
An activity you wish you did less of.
Taxes.
So, by the way, listeners need to know in the United States, we're recording this on tax day, which is rather fitting.
Top of mind. I had some last minute things for my US filings that I had to do this morning and some payments to make. So right up there. Anything that takes a ton of structure and discipline, I should not be doing.
If I could snap my fingers, Dave Young, and you could be anywhere in the world, where are you?
It's the Exumas in the Bahamas.
Ooh.
Love it.
You've been.
Yeah, we have a home there and some investment properties, and I'm heading there Friday. It's a joyous spot for me to bring my family to because we get to be on the water. We get to see amazing things, and the people there are unbelievable. It's so much fun. If you're ever on Instagram and looking at the Exumas, it's even better than it looks in those photos. Have you been?
I would hope it's better than it looks on my phone. I would really take it in a little bit.
Well, they do a good job on Instagram these days with making stuff look really, really amazing. And the Exumas, you will not be disappointed. It's everything that people say it would be. And you know what? It depends when you ask somebody that question, because Canadians, we're like, this time of year, it's still somewhere hot, but in the summer, we're probably going to say right where we are at the moment, because our summers are so short but intense that being on the lake in the summer is amazing. And then in the winter, any kind of ski hill, like a really nice ski hill or a hockey rink, always a good spot to be as well. Anytime you're playing hockey, you're having a good time. So
we wouldn't have a Canadian on the program if we didn't get to the hockey rink.
Yeah, at least slip it in.
Expect that.
Yeah,
at least slip it in there once. Dave Young, totally awesome to have you in here. Builder Nuggets podcast. Everybody check it out. Truly a pleasure to have you on the program.
Yeah, that was fun. Fun Street's great. I'll happily travel down it with you anytime, brother.
You got it, man. And to all listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep moving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.